Ok, sì, siamo in... dovremmo... Eccoci qua! Gnamo, buhaioli, gnamo! Allora, prima di tutto fatemi subito mettere la copertina. Vai! Oh, vai, salva. Gnamo, siamo in live, buhaioli. Gnamo, siamo in live. Gnamo. Allora, come si fa ora a mettere la live? Oh, vai. Vai. Buhaioli, vi do il benvenuto a la 23esima live di The Great Saturn Chronicles. Ragazzi, scusate se non sono più attivo come prima, mi dispiace un monte. Però ora sto iniziando, giustamente, non è che No, mi si disconnette. No, ok, salvo in extremis. Mi sono salvato in extremis perché c'ho il DualShock scarico, accidenta a quella serpe. Dicevo, scusate se non sono più attivo come prima, però giustamente ora ho iniziato un po' un periodo di studio per l'università, data a dicembre, da un esame bello corposo, quindi ho finito ora di studiare, ho detto via, appena finisco voglio giocare a dei Saturn Chronicles, perché è una serie mi garbo un monte, mi ci muore la gola e si gode tutti quanti, si gode. Andiamo un po'. No, le scimmie di Giulio. Ciao Giulio. Andiamo, si comincia il secondo capitolo di The Great Ace Chronicles, cioè The Great Saturn 2 Resolve. Non so mai come si chiama sto secondo gioco, è un casino. Aspetta. Mi sono dimenticato c'ho il gioco in giapponesetto. Cos'è sta roba? Quindi sì, è vero, nella scorsa live abbiamo finalmente messo il gioco in giapponese, perché non sapevo, ho visto tipo un video a caso su YouTube di una recensione, ho detto poi puoi anche impostare la voce in giapponese. Io, cosa? E nulla. Ho postato la voce in giapponese e si gode.
背中を刺され倒れた裏若きレディが生死をさまよううちに事件は解決した。窮地に陥った東洋人の留学生が我が友人によって救い出されたその晩、ガス灯の刻むほの暗い影の中、再び奇怪な事件が闇を切り裂いた。当時の新聞の戦場的な見出しを記憶している者も多いだろう。悪霊に見入られた死の邸宅、
Ok, interessante.
現場に駆けつけた名探偵は瞬時にその真相を看破するのだが、
Ok.
それは悲劇の舞台の幕開けを告げるプレリュードに過ぎなかったのである。
Ok. Non ho capito un granché, sinceramente. Oh, guarda un po'. My name is Nosuke Naruto. I'm fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, Madonna mia, ho perso anche il ritmo nel parlare fluidamente in inglese. Poi era a noi. I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Esatto. Oh, quanto mi è mancata sta stanzina. Currently, I reside in the active of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancies of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Great Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grilling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But that epic trial was just one small part of the epic tale. Ciao ciao Alice Fiore. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. Cos'era un maiale? Cos'era? Cos'era quel verso? Ciao G-chan. Fra? Ah, Giulio. What a delicious smell. Ah, era lo stomaco, ma che cazzo. Wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Shom's suit. Oh, che bello, finalmente faccio la voce ad Iris, una delle mie voci preferite. Anche se era un pezzetto e non la fa. Anzi, è un secolo. And say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. Oh, vai. Perché non è l'ora di eliminare il messaggio? Oh, are you now? Good. Ok, ci siamo. I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready. Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we though, I have some news and a surprise. Sure! Not another word, Mr. Naruto. This could be just the chief thing for my breakfast. Stagnation, repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, I see. Cos'è? Stai lontano da me. Allontanati. Ah, davvero eliminato il messaggio, Giulio. So, that's it. Cosa? The truth is clear to me as the day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruto, this very morning met with a surprise. Ma è quello che stavo dicendo? Well, it's not the case. È quello che ho detto io, forse? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course. Though I don't look for admiration, you understand? My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it is? And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you. Hardly pulled your button off. Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? Okay. Va bene. As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tone. But then, my utter dismay, the string snapped. Why did it have had to happen? Why? Sta calmo però, fra, nel senso. Little wonder then, that in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from the proper place. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring. Dio buono.
But Harley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Well, that is really a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire. The famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Proprio lui. Che uomo. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. Beh, in realtà eravamo noi nello scorso gioco, E vai.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. And I have a herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend. Ah!
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, as published in Rand's magazine. Oh, gli fa buono. Comunque sì, ci sta un po' facendo una reintroduzione dei personaggi, perché essenzialmente per loro sono passati 2 anni dall'ultimo gioco, quindi giustamente gli fa sempre buono un po' di spiegone iniziale. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning?
Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan. Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it really?
That's right. And she had rather startling news, in fact. Sentiamo quali sono queste news. Intriguing indeed. You must tell us about it all over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun!
Allora, è arrivato il momento di riesaminare la stanza. E devo dire che non mi sembra cambiata una sega, se non il fatto è che qua c'è un unicorno. È un unicorno? No, aspetta, fammi avvicinare il televisore, non ci vedo. Sembra un unicorno, se no un cane. Oh, guarda un po' il c'è qui, è tornata. Allora alla fine non l'ha venduta, dai. Meno male. Infatti la prima cosa che volevo analizzare. That machine really is imposing, isn't it? But I can never remind its name.
Harley calls it the great analytical. It can analyze it all.
That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? An extremely astute question, Mr. Naruhodo. Che palle. Sorry. Well, as I already said, my machine here. Facciamo una cosa. Per quanto riguarda queste cose, io voglio mettere questo. Perché sennò l'analisi porta via. Vedi, I have no idea. Clearly I'm going to have to construct a great anosticop to solve the problem. That might not help. Allora, quindi qui vabbè ci sta il violino. Ah yes, Mr. Shum's faithful musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous? Yes. It's 30 years, though I'm afraid I don't afford one. But don't you buy it for a song, Mr. Shum's? I found it upon Brockery. Sì, quella dell'altra volta. Quindi è inutile stare ad analizzare cose che già sappiamo. L'unica cosa che vorrei evitare di skippare. Ora non so se qua c'è altra roba. Spero di no. Ah, c'è il mappamondo. Sì. Io questa parte la voglio skippare perché è veramente inutile. Tranne tipo quando c'è da analizzare seriamente. Ma in questi posti così a caso è un po' inutile. Giusto così per completezza, ecco. L'unica cosa invece vorrei analizzare per bene è questo. Però questo me lo vorrei lasciare quasi un po' per ultimo. And I love it. There's something very relaxing. Cioè vedete, stanno parlando di cose a caso. But consider this. Instead of the first place. That's the idea. Sì, grande. Però mi piace come loro analizzano lo skip. Perché se vedete, se ora provo a pigiare lo skip, vedete, non è tutto insieme ma è a tratti per dare un po' l'effetto di completezza. Non so come dirlo. Ok, quindi qua c'è la stanza della figliolina. Sì, queste erano tipo le pozioni. Cioè delle... Non mi viene a mente come si chiama. Però è quello lì, insomma, ragazzi. Via, avete inteso. 9 menzioni. Ah, pff, la live. Tra l'altro non ho capito perché. Beh, andiamo avanti, via. I'll be careful, vai. Qua sta la macchina. Ah, è quello dove è scritto le famose storie del tizio. E vai. Ok. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. Stanchezza. Dovrei aver fatto tutto in teoria. L'unica cosa che dovrebbe mancare, esatto, è questo. Questo vorrei evitare di skipparlo. Ah yes, the huge metal chest with the lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut. The chest contains my father's detailed records of Harley's many cases. Yes, a mere let's relive. Though personally, I've never actually seen inside. And that's why it will stay. Those papers are secret between Daddy and me. If you go open it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten. What? Is there a beast inside there or something? Perfetto, adesso possiamo tornare a mettere questo su off. Perfetto. Ora qua dov'è che ci possiamo spostare? Ah, prende a caso. Present. Ah, tra l'altro non sta nel nostro coso. Vabbè. Conversiamo. Mr. Sato's letter. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by international post. How lovely. Look, Susie's beautiful writing. Oh, I wish I could read it. And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case. Ah, really? How? Isn't she wonderful? Ha! A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Ma a quanto pare mi sa di no, perché lui si dimentica tipo tutto. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do! We helped the man twice! You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briarwood 6 months ago? Ha! The mustache twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache?
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Harley.
Yes! Who could forget those 2 cases? That made a very deep impression of me. Allora, io non ho capito. Anche nell'altro caso stavano parlando di 2 casi. Ma quando noi in realtà ne abbiamo risolto solo uno. Quello dove Natsume era considerato colpevole. Però non so se per quei 2 casi intendono anche quello abbiamo fatto. Invece lì su da quella figliola, la reduce di guerra e dalla sua maid, che in realtà era la moglie, che per la discussione avevano bruciato, cioè avevano lanciato tutta la roba. Il coltello è finito casualmente su quella figliola lì, che non di cui non sappiamo nemmeno il nome. Vuoi capire se era questo che intendono con 2 casi. Però un caso non c'entra niente con Natsume, più o meno non c'entra niente. Although I must confess the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. So, what's this startling news penned by Mrs. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunted loggings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, isn't very interesting, you know. I don't feel uncertain of the case of nature. They're not occur. He's utterly forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Sato asked that we read over her case noted again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago, for what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the reason why she was called back to Japan suddenly might have something to do with the case of the haunted loggings. Interessante. On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mr. Sato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication too. But then Harley here was funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that, are you sure? E una cosa mi garba di Sholmes è che lui si dimentica le cose ed è bellissimo. Poi non so se lo fa apposta, però tipo anche prima non si ricordava di Natsume, non si ricordava della roba di ieri sera che ha staccato un bottone a Ryonosuke. Cioè, capito? È interessante come cosa, non so se lo fa apposta o no. Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mrs. Sato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she said to return to Japan? Ma ovvio, lui dirà no, a dirla tutta non mi sembra di no.
It's been 4 months since we waived Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. La cosa mi dà fastidio è che però non ho visto nemmeno un coso, una cutscene. Non vorrei in questo gioco non ci cioè, se in questo gioco non ci sono le cutscene mi arrabbio. Oh. Yes, because of her father that had passed away. No. It just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse! So Susie's daddy lied to her that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
Ragazzi, la vedo dura in questo gioco vedere Rinoso e Susato insieme, forse alla fine. L'unica cosa che spero non mi facciano è farmi un caso Rinosoe, un caso Susato, un caso Rinosoe e così via. Ma probabilmente andrà sicuramente così. I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Okay. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Mrs. Sato's father is hiding.
Hardly. Do you know what's it all about?
Bah, se vestijo. Huh? Well, who can say? What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. Attenzione. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel. Even if I were quite at leisure. So, bend the effort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Harley. Don't worry, see you later.
Ciao, Ganzo. Is Carol off rather quickly there? E la cosa inizia. Se lo sentite anche voi, questo odorino di... Casco dalla seggiola. Questo odorino di troiaio, di trappola. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki's son was involved in 2 cases, but one of them was forbidden from being published. By all of people, Mr. Schultz.
Haha! At last.
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Bruno?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. Questa è nuova sta musina. Bellina. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spy neat.
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in the curd that followed. Reliving every detail, I just need to find a clue. And I have all the time in the world, because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice love in the courts of Great Britain. Ma come? Cioè, l'ha detto anche prima, ma perché? Cioè... It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded the wintry streets of London. Eccoci, eccoci. Questo caso, porca Eva, quanto ci ho dannato. Quanto ci ho dannato qui. Giulio, qui è dove ho avuto il mio primo rage quit, in questo maledetto caso. Dio buono. Dio buono. Che fastidio che era. A woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Bray Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick. Ta-ra-ra-ra-ra. And nobody saw her attacker, but... by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. Since poi però le sta rispiegando il caso. That man was Soseki-san. Oh, praticamente Marco Togni. And the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Jones. Che ricordi. Ah, aspettate un attimo, voglio provare a vedere una cosa. Allora, sì, salviamo. Ovviamente lo salviamo qui. Ok. Vuoi un attimo provare a vedere una cosa? Allora, special contents. Poi si va su Taylor. Ok. Poi un attimo perché voglio un attimo provare a riascoltare di nuovo la voce di lui. Ah, che bello. Sembra proprio di sentire la versione seria di Zenitsu. È vero. Ah, ok, qui c'ha ancora il vestito, però comunque gli voglio mettere la skin associato. Perché sì. Oh. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. Insomma, è andata a finire in modo bene. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilation was short-lived. Okay. We received a telegram from Mr. Shums the following morning. The victim of the Bray Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Birds at once! Okay. So Susato-san and I summon a handsome and hated immediately to the hospital. Sta roba però non si sapeva mica. Oh ganze, voi avete fatto dei furbini nello scorso gioino. Ah, guarda un po' chi c'è Susato. Allora visto che ce l'hanno fatto vedere Susato e Rionoso insieme in un flashback. Testine di cazzo. There you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. Oh, guardate che topo! Guardate che topo e c'è lì a destra! No! C'è un topo! No, guardate che topo che c'è! Topo! Che topo! You're late! What on earth took you so long? Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes.
and a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
Tra l'altro tipo sembra fatto da Mr. Shoms questo vestito molto particolare di Susato. Dai ragazzi, Dio buono. That's right. And it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. In point of fact, myself and I was awoken at 4 this morning by telegram buddy, boy. And I'm feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour. I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She has only just regained consciousness. Badate Ganza. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who was found on the show-covered pavement with a knife in her back.
Her name is... yes, here we are. Miss Green.
Che pizza, guarda lì quanta roba devo analizzare, che 2 patatine.
Look, there's a photograph in this frame here.
E questo chi caspita è?
Yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman.
He looks about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Who do you think? Mi sembra più il fratello gemello.
My, Mr. Naruto. I didn't know you had a sense of matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, isn't it?
I don't think it's a decoration, Mr. Naruto. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe. Used when practicing sketching the human in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you'd call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Well, if I want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. Allora, qui c'è la signora, però prima vediamo cosa c'è scritto qui. Ma sbaglio è tipo... La stanza è un botto simile a quella di Mr. Shoms quando era andato via. Beh, grazie al cazzo, è un ospedale. This looks like the... Oioi! Oh, mi prudi il naso, accidente a quella serpe maledetta! Oh... Accidente a quella serpe maledetta, di nuovo. This looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. What is this place, Azu?
You know, it seems to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeon, yes, but this is a person. Poor woman. I hope she hasn't read this.
That must be the back of Miss Green's personal belongings. She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
Non ditemi l'ha detto Rinoso e porca. E vabbè, stiazzi.
I expect a friend of a family member brought some things for her.
Alright then, let's see what's inside. A change of clothes, no doubt, and...
No, Mr. Naruhodo. You must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
But a young maiden might have chocolates or biscuits or caramel. Ha ha ha. Andiamo il topino. Allora, qui, qua e qua. Non sembra poi esserci altro da analizzare. Questa roba, porca. There are a lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you were a patient here, I would feel sure you take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock. Even if it's only filmy looking one.
Oh, I have no doubt you'd manage to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mr. Sato. Ah, vediamo un po' il topino e dice:
A mouse, Mr. Naruhodo!
No,
a mouse, Mr. Naruhodo, an enormous mouse!
Vermin in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we can say that's down the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking. Ok, dimmi che... No! Ma sono la stessa cosa, perché? Bottle soft medicine, I'm not sure leaving them like this.
Yes, you're right, I can imagine if you're in a package.
Sì, sì, grande. Sì, sì, grande. Io non so più fare, non vorrei. Che dice sto? Ah, look at this. Like the treatment notes for whatever occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so... He or she is probably running around the hospital then. Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. Vediamo, finalmente c'ha da dire sta figliola. Good morning. Hello. Ah, okay. Hello, Rinasuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Oh no. Was it your knife there? Are you the man who... No, I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Mikotoba. Pleased to meet you.
Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the one?
No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come to give you the best wishes. Our
best wishes for me? Thank you.
I'm olive green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not art, isn't it? But what it means, I'm trying to be an artist. Well,
pensavo fosse più vecchio, sinceramente, invece mi sembra abbastanza giovane.
Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist.
But the truth is, I don't have any talent. Or, I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. I don't think that's related, actually. Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green. It was cold that day, and the fog was thick. I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago, now I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all the time. But the case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here in the hospital, I mean. Indeed it has, my dear madame. Spectacularly by none other than I, Sherlock Holmes. Mr. Holmes! Oi! Sto per cascare stavolta in maniera allucinante dalla seggiola. Ma si gode. Cioè non si gode. Più o meno. Mr. Holmes! As you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court to solve that case. Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green? Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. Me coming around to see to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me. Oh no. We are all so relieved that you're on demand, Miss Green. Really, we are. With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Beh, in effetti è vero. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green? Oh, no, I couldn't possibly claim that. Kurt Rehord. Abbiamo ancora i dati del signorotto, bella roba. I'm a flat king artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Third Night Academy of Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country. Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts? Oh no, actually, I don't deserve it. Bah, che palle. But I have a little flat on Brixton Road. I see. Very interesting. Oh no, is it? Brixton is something stops away from the underground from here. And Turknad Academy is a minute further from Brixton Town Center. Does it matter, Mr. Holmes? Perhaps not. But Briar Road is far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those of inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Mustache. Inferior means? I suppose Soseki-san does feel the bail. It strikes me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine art student to be working in such a district. That's all. What's this? She suddenly climbed up.
Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into students' maidens' private affairs.
Oh dear me. Don't forget me. Forgive, no forget. Jobban. If you don't mind, I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pick up my things.
Oh yes, of course, we won't keep you. Thank you very much, Miss Green.
Fine del flashback? No, niente fine del flash. Narrow fodder here, Mr. Narrow fodder. Narrow fodder now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Ah! Mr. Narrow fodder! Good, this is for you. It's the message from Miss Saucy Nutsmack. Chi è?
Mr. Natsume sent a message to me? But why would the policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume?
Exactly. What's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? What are you waiting for? Let me see that. Oh. See? Well, this is most unexpected. Something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Something wrong, Mr. Sholmes, I say. Have you not seen this note? No. How could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case call. A case of murder, no less. Ah. Come è a case of murder? We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab. Time for essence. But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to play him a visit in his lodgings once we did. That would be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's earlier in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Moustache's lodgings. Wait, what?
I'll hail fires at once.
Eccoci, ci mancava 3 questa. Dio buono. It was only yesterday that Soseki-san was in court, and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address. He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or it seemed to us at the time. But we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Okay. Ragazzi, so che è brutto da dire così, però per oggi ci fermiamo qui. Lo so, purtroppo le live durano un po' pochino ultimamente, però d'altronde è un po' inevitabile. D'altronde... Ma dai, ma mi sono un po' spoilerato la stanza all'interno della quale non ci sono ancora stato. Vabbè. Ragazzi, mi dispiace davvero se ultimamente le live dureranno sempre più o meno pochino, però anche non ho purtroppo tutto il tempo del mondo disponibile. Mi dispiace, però accettatemi per quello che sono. Vi prego. Comunque, buhaioli, noi ci vediamo nella prossima live di Saturday. Ci vediamo anche su Twitch, su YouTube, su Instagram, su Discord. Trovate ogni link in the description. Buongiorno. Ringrazio tantissimo. Ringrazio Giulio per aver assistito alla live. Noi ci vediamo ad un prossimo video. Buona buhaioli, buona scissi.